The final piece of arguing is that you actually have to, I would say, radiate a certain sense of calm and niceness. What this means is that if somebody comes at you in a polite way, you're not allowed to hit them with a club. Right? So my rule in debate is that you get to pick the weapon of your choice. Right? It's like an old-fashioned medieval duel. You get to pick the rapier or you get to pick the mace and chain, and it's your choice. I'm happy to argue any way you want to argue. Right? If you want to have a really nice, calm, polite conversation, I am more than happy to do that. It's what I prefer. If you want to be a jerk, then I'm going to hit you really, really hard. And what this means is that you can never actually be seen as the bad guy, because when you're seen as a bad guy is when you go totally disproportionate. When you go totally disproportionate, you're seen as the bad guy, unless the audience is already just angry at the person that you're arguing with. Right? Then you want to see Donald Trump put Jeb Bush through a wall or something. But otherwise, if you're just debating with somebody, as tempting as it is, you cannot body slam them if they're just trying to play by Marcus of Queensberry rules. By the same token, if they start punching below the belt, finish them. Right? If they start punching below the belt, you put them down for the count. And that means, it means using every tool at your disposal. It's the same thing your dad taught you guys when you were growing up about dealing with bullies, right? That if they punch you, you finish the fight, but you don't start the fight. Right? It's the same thing that's true in debate. So what comes to mind is I was once debating Cenk Uygur, and we were doing this big debate in front of about 3,000 people, and Cenk had done debates the previous 2 years with Ann Coulter and Dinesh D'Souza. And in both of those debates, he'd gone really low. In both of those debates, he'd come up with this list of quotes from both of them and just read quotes at them to be really nasty. And neither Dinesh nor Ann were really prepared for that, because by actual personal interaction, they're both very polite people. I know both of them, I'm friendly with both of them. And so they weren't expecting that. They were expecting to just have a normal debate, and instead Cenk came at them with the kitchen sink. I was expecting Cenk to come at me with the kitchen sink. And so I had 8 pages of stuff in my pocket, literally 8 pages of stuff right here. And if he had gone low, I would have hit him so hard. I would have finished his career on the stage if he'd gone low. I mean, it was, I had quote after quote from him about his denial of the Armenian genocide. I mean, I was willing to go there. And instead, Cenk, because he was smart enough to realize that the audience was kind of stacked against him, I think, he had a polite debate. And we had a perfectly nice, polite debate on Medicare and Medicaid and healthcare spending and all this kind of stuff. I really would have preferred for it to go low, because it would have been a spectacular video. But since it did not, I did not have the ability. It was not my job to go low. So the other person gets to pick the weapon, and then you finish them with their own weapon. That's what makes you a really good debater.